we're live, but are we?
We are.
We're a little dark. Do you want me to go flip another set of lights on while you talk to the people? You talk to the people. I'm going to flip another set of lights on.
All right. Welcome. Hi. We're glad you're here. Yeah, I'm Debbie, and I own the shop here in Midlothian, Virginia. We are Dances with Wool. We're located just right outside of Richmond, and we are a local brick. That's better. Yeah, we're a local brick and mortar shop. And we kind of pride ourselves on quality yarns and accessories for knitters and crocheters, and the fact that, you know, we have probably, I feel, just an amazing supportive environment for, you know, learning your craft here. So we welcome you today. This is, it's been more than a month.
It has been more than a month. We had the holidays, and then we had snow.
Yeah,
a lot of snow. And there's more coming. Did you see that?
And did you see when? I mean,
apparently weekends are for snow days now.
Just not Saturday during the day. Saturday night, please. Yeah, I saw that this morning, and I'm like, because we had a trunk show, 29 bridges.
Yes.
And they were scheduled to come in last Saturday, and we didn't want to wait to the last minute to cancel, so we canceled her.
Shifted her back a week.
Yeah.
And I know.
Because, you know, and it ended up being a bus. She could have come last weekend.
She could have come. It would have been fine.
But at the time when we canceled her, we were expecting, six plus inches of snow. And she lives in Northern Virginia. So we were like, okay, we'll try again next week. And now I saw that this morning. So
we'll just see. We just, at this point, you just wait and see now, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. What are you going to do?
The way things are going.
You've got to be, if we've learned anything in the last few years, we've learned that.
Pivot!
We've learned that we can do things. If we have to, we can just turn it around on a dime. So
move that couch up the stairs.
That's right. That's right. So I've introduced myself. So
my name is Erin. If we haven't met before, I'm the store manager here. And as Debbie told you, we're located just outside the city of Richmond in Central Virginia. You can find us on the web at danceswithwoolrva.com. We've got an online shop that is always open for you with flat rate shipping if you're not local, or in-store pickup if you are. Hello, Sandy. And 60% chance.
Yay.
Well, we'll see.
Not 100.
You can also follow us on social media. We are Dances with Wool RVA everywhere. But we just want to get a chance to welcome you. This is episode 12. 12?
It is 12.
12.
Yep, it is 12, and it has been more than a month. And you and I kind of talked about, we end up having so much that we have to remember from the last month as far as what we've gotten new in, what we're doing. And it's like, we need to do this a little more often. So we're talking about that to see. But there's a lot of prep that has to go on to get to this point.
You should see the table right now in front of us is stuffed full of things to talk to you about today. Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah. And look at this. I mean, I look so dull next to you this morning. Look at this. You need to wear red more often. This cannot be your only red
sweater. Have to become, I might have to
That is
have more.
Gorgeous on you. Just absolutely gorgeous. Yes.
Well,
so, and we're going to get to that.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are
we wearing?
What are you wearing?
You go ahead and talk about.
Do you want me to talk about? I have a finished object. I don't have one. I have two finished objects. So I would like a little bit of praise this month for this podcast, because if anybody know, if you've been following us for a while, I've been struggling with I have a RSI, or radicular stress injury, in my elbow, so I have to be careful about how much I knit. I can't knit as much as I used to, and I've just gone through a slump. It's like 3 podcasts in a row. I'd be like, well, I haven't finished anything. What have you knit, Debbie? While she's like stacking up FOs.
No, not really.
But I have an actual finished object today. This is Love Note by Tin Can Knits. You've seen this. Everybody has made one of these, except for me, apparently. Just the only knitter on the planet who hadn't made one yet. So this is my Love Note. It is a little bit cropped, and I did not do the high-low hem. I just did a straight around hem, but it's very, very simple sweater. It's got a little bit of a lace patterning in the yoke. It's knit with a fingering weight yarn held together with a mohair silk or Surrey alpaca silk fuzzy lace weight on like size 10 needles. I mean, this thing realistically should have taken me about 3 weeks to do.
Yeah, that's one of the only patterns I did 2 of.
Right.
And it was for that reason.
I'm going to make another one. I already
Yeah.
have yarn set up to make another one in a couple months.
But it wasn't I cannot remember. It was the yarn that was variegated, right? Or was
yes.
It, yeah.
Well, both of them are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They were both variegates. I thought maybe one was a tonal. But you can see it clearly in the camera, just how beautiful. Oh my God. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
So the yarn is by Lamb Strings. It is not a dyer that we carry. I bought this at Indie Untangled during Rhinebeck weekend last fall. But yeah, it's really, there's so much opportunity for color play with this sweater. You could go matchy with your mohair. You could have your mohair and your other yarn be totally different colors and have a cool marled effect. There's a lot of different things that you could do with this sweater, but it's very cozy. I did not do the provisional cast on and then knit down, and then I don't have the patience for things like that. So I just worked the numbers backwards and cast on with the ribbing and fudged it. It's a little high on the neck. So the next one I do, I think I'm going to cast on a few more stitches and move the neckline down just a little bit. But other than that, I pretty much follow the pattern as much as I ever follow a pattern.
Yeah, it's a nicely written pattern.
It
is.
And
like Erin said, big needles. So
yes,
but it's a good one if you just want to venture into a sweater project.
Absolutely.
It's cropped, which means it's not going to, it can be longer. But I mean, for the most part, it's a cropped sweater with 3/4 sleeves. So it's a nice one to, to do. And the lace work was not difficult.
No, it's very, very simple, very repetitive.
Mm-hmm. So you're doing the same thing the whole yoke. So it's a good one. So we highly recommend that one. Yes. Yeah, that's the only pattern I can even think of that I have allowed myself to do more than one.
Yeah.
So good one.
Well, what are you wearing?
Well, I am wearing the Perennial Garden Shawl. This is actually was made by Pam. Was a test knit for Tiff Neilan. And I just wanted to wear it today to showcase this amazing yarn that we just got a restock of from Little Fox. We look at this lemon squeezy. I mean, look at this.
I know.
Look at that.
I love that color.
I know. It's just a gorgeous color. It's a great pop of color. But we got a restock of our 21 color palette that our core, colors that we carry. And we absolutely love this yarn. I did my bobby in it.
So this is Willow.
It's Willow
by Little Fox Yarns. It's a 70% merino, 30% hemp blend. So
and it's sport weight.
Sport weight. It's very cool. The hemp doesn't take the dye the way the wool does. So you can see kind of the way the colors are. And it has this cool kind of halo-ish
it does. You can
thing
see
that goes with it. Very, very cool. And it's up with a beautiful drape to it.
So I've done a sweater in it. This one is our store sample. And again, Pam made this. And it's just, you can see how drapey it is.
3 colors,
it's great. 1
skein each. A lot of slip stitches and texture.
Not hard
and
to
stripes. Do. Very, very simple.
Yeah. And
it is finally available now on Ravelry.
Yeah,
there was a lag time because it was started off as a exclusive pattern with a kit for the store A Verb for Keeping Warm. And then it just was slow to get uploaded on Ravelry for individual purchase, but it's there now.
It is
and
there now.
We will link the pattern to that and everything else we talk about in the description box down below after we are no longer live.
And again, the yarn is Willow by Little Fox. It's sport weight, and we have it here in the store, and it is also available on our website.
So what else have you finished?
The other thing I finished, I don't have everything I have finished since
I was about to say, you did a lot of gift knitting this year.
Mostly hats.
For the holidays.
I did a pair of bed socks, and they were all gifts. So they went away. But I had an extra skein of chunky from Malabrigo left over. Okay. And I found this free pattern. Actually, I think I helped a customer find this pattern. I thought, well, that's not a bad pattern to do with a skein of Malabrigo chunky. It's called Jonathan's Hat. Very, very, very easy.
By Anne
It's
Kubelik?
Anne Kubelik. Yes,
Kubelik.
Anne Kubelik. It's just a one-page free pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very repetitive, very easy. I will tell you, after I did it, this is one skein, and I didn't have much of a skein left over. So I will tell you that the pattern is probably best for a child.
Right.
It's not deep enough, really, if you want it to cover your ears. There's no brim on it, but it's a great.
But you could get two skeins of Malabrigo and knit for longer before you work the decreases.
And that's what I was going to say. If you want it for an adult, you do need one more than one second skein. If you want, because it is chunky, and there's only like 100 yards on this,
something like 100 or 110 yards in a chunky skein.
Yeah, and so if you do want it for an adult, sure, you just keep going before the decreases to however much you want the length to be. Some people said it was running a little small. That's why I said, probably for the way the pattern is written, if you make it as written, probably an older child. But very repetitive. You can see it was just very easy to do. Very good beginner knitter project.
Debbie's wearing there's a shawl cuff by Knox Mountain Co. We are out of stock at the moment. This is our display piece that we use on our display samples. But we might try to get some more in if we can. But Knox Mountain, if you look up Knox Mountain, Knox.
Right.
Shawl cuff. Yep. You knew somebody was going to ask.
I knew somebody was going to ask about the cuff, and we
had to look it up before we started.
Where did we get these? Yeah. So, thanks, Angie. So that's the only FO that I have to show, because like I said, everything else was
a gift.
And I never did I should have brought in my Even Star. I'll do that next time.
Oh, okay. Yes. Everybody would love to see it.
It's one I talked about on previous podcasts. So
it's good.
All right. Look at the colors. You were rocking it out of the park today. I mean, knocking it out of the park with these colors.
So this is my other finished object.
Pops. Mm-hmm.
So this is, if you have watched us at all, you will know that I have a slight obsession with Sarah Schira's gnome patterns. And so this is all work gnome play. She loves her some good puns. By Sarah Schira. This was the fall mystery knit-along gnome that I didn't end up casting on in the fall. So she's kind of Halloween colors, because that's what I picked out to do, the purple and green.
I just think it's awesome
for Halloween. So this is Norwin, and this is the first of the Year of Gnomes knit-along that Sarah's doing. It's a very kind of casual knit-along. The idea is you just make a gnome a month. And then she's got prizes. You can find information on her website. I'll link it below. But this is Norwin. I know the little braids. There are a couple of options in the pattern. You can knit a piece, a cabled fabric for her braids. But by the time I got to that point, I'm like, as you know, I tend to reach a projects where I go, I'm done. I don't really feel like doing anything else with this. So I just did the little regular braid.
And an option, I didn't know about this until Erin showed on your very first gnome that you brought in. She doesn't use polyfill. She uses...
I do. It's a combination.
Oh, it's a combination.
It's a combination of polyfill and weighted beads.
Okay.
Stuffing
it's the weighted beads that I wanted to tell you about for these types of anything like these little characters or things like that you're going to be sitting and
that are top heavy.
Yeah.
They end up top heavy unless you put some weight. And she's got, like I said, I'm going to link Sarah's website below. She has a huge discussion on there about other options. People use all kinds of things, fish tank gravel. They use beans, all kinds of different things that you can put inside the gnomes. But there's a ton of gnome patterns on Ravelry. Sarah's got a dozen of them now, which is why she's doing this Year of Gnomes knit-along. But this is gnome number 1 for me for the year. So this is all work gnome play by Sarah Schira. I love her little mittens. And her hat's supposed to look like an upside down ice cream cone, because the thing with the gnomes is that most of them have a story that goes with them. They have a name and they have a story. And this is Norwin, who works at the ice cream shop in the Gnome National Park. So So her hat's supposed to look like an upside down ice cream cone.
And it does.
And that's why she has mittens, so she can scoop ice cream.
Boy, they don't leave any details out of
I
their
know.
stories.
I love everything about these little guys.
Yeah.
And my daughter is quite enchanted by the idea that we will have an army of gnomes in our house by the time.
So you're committed to doing 12 gnomes?
Yes. 1 gnome a month. But she's got lots of different patterns, and there's different, some of them are worsted weight, some of them are fingering weight. It just kind of depends, different needle sizes. My game plan is actually 1 month I'm going to do a super bulky gnome. So I'm going to follow one of her patterns with giant needles and big yarn. So he'll be big, like a pillow. 1 month I'm going to do, she has this gnome pattern that makes this little gnome that's about this big. That can be like an ornament on a tree or a pair of earrings. And yes, my daughter has requested a pair of gnome earrings. So that, I mean, you know, it's like 30 minutes of knitting because it's such a tiny little thing on such tiny little needles. And so
I just think they're adorable.
So that's, we'll see.
I commend you for doing it. I mean, that's an awfully small needle.
Oh, size ones. So
one,
not terribly, not different than doing a pair of socks, realistically.
The bottom's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, she's really neat. They're very well written patterns. Sarah's got tons of video tutorials. If there's any tricky bits in the pattern at all, she walks through exactly how to put everything together. They're well thought out. These yarns that I use, these are some Emma's Practically Perfect Smalls, little mini skeins of fingering weight yarn. We have a ton in stock right now on our website. So if you would like to knit your own gnome, or even to put toes and heels on a pair of socks, or to do a little bit of color work like in a hat or something, use a small amount of fingering weight yarn, the smalls are great for that.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. I love that. I love that you got another one done. And you showed them your Christmas one, didn't you?
I don't know. Did I ever show them my
Christmas?
You talk about what you're working on now, and I will get the.
Oh, okay. Well, after all of the Christmas knitting that I did for gifts, I just went full throttle with casting on all the things this over the holidays, or after the holidays, first of the year. So the first thing that, and I'm almost done with this, and I showed y'all the yarn. It is Yin and Yang from Loop. Here, oops, sorry. Here's the ball band from it. It's a 100% fine merino, and you can see it's flex. We've shown this to you before.
It's two colors plied together.
Yeah, it is actually. It says harmonizing the yarn universe. So it's basically, one that has the white and the black. So here's my weekender.
So it'll be flipped the other way. No, you flipped it inside out for the camera.
Flipped it inside out. I'm actually knitting the sleeves now, and this
cool.
Yeah, you can't really see it. So when I was at Rhinebeck, this is not a yarn we carry. When I was at Rhinebeck, I saw this on a mannequin in this booth, the Loop booth, and I was really taken with the yarn for one thing. And I was not somebody who I did not really want to make a reverse stockinette sweater.
Right.
I wasn't sure I liked the look of it, but when you have this kind of a yarn,
this
it
marled
really,
kind of yarn.
You can't really tell it's reverse stockinette, and it's got this great effect, you know. And then the one that I saw had done an alternate color
for the ribbing hem
ribbing.
and the top ribbing.
So, and
So
the
cool.
cuffs will also be
on
red.
the sleeves.
But y'all, I'm worried. That's why I put this on a holder. This is it. I've got to do the two 2-inch cuffs.
Well, I know, but your worsted weight yarn on big
I'm
needles.
Really worried.
2 inches is only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 10 rows. You only take about 10 rows in each sleeve. That's a lot here.
You think?
I think you're fine. I think you're not going to have much left over, but I think you're good.
So the game of yarn chicken has commenced. Yeah.
Now, yes, what you could always do absolutely is knit your 2 sleeves, except for the cuff.
Right. And I put these on a holder. This is the Knitting Barber cord. Love them. Absolutely love them. But I put these because I was worried about this. So I wanted to wait.
And knit your other sleeve
and
first.
I had not made a decision on whether or not I should go ahead and extend this and make the cuffs a little bit shorter. So I'm just gonna
You
see.
could,
I
but
just
what I would
wasn't ready to
do,
make that.
yeah,
to
I
make
would
that
knit your other
decision.
sleeve, and then I would knit the cuff, the 2-inch cuff, like weigh your ball, knit the 2-inch cuff on the one sleeve the way you know you want to, weigh the
Okay.
ball again, as long as there's more than 50% of it left,
Yeah, that's a
then
good
you know you're
point.
golden.
Yeah, but I love the look of it. It's one of those that I think I'm gonna really. It's longer. I've been doing more cropped things lately, but this is longer. This is a great pattern. It's got the high-low hem. So you do
Weekender
it.
by Andrea
You
Mowry.
do the tubular cast on, then you do each flat until you get to the point where I started on the black and then it was knit in the round. So yes, that one's almost done. I am ready to finish sleeves on that. But
You're very close to be done.
yeah, and because it is nothing but round and round and round and round at this point, I decided to cast on something else.
Of course.
So the this fall, I bought Marie Wallin's new book, Cherish. I fell in love with Marie Wallin at Edinburgh in 2018 when I really didn't know anything about her and learned about her there. Mm-hmm. But she does the traditional British breeds Fair Isle knitting.
Yes.
So, and
British designer.
Yeah, she is. And she has a website, so you could go on and learn all kinds of things about her. I bought one of her books when I was in Edinburgh, and then I heard about this one that she was basically reimagining some of the patterns and just updating them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I decided that this year I was going to take on a full color work Fair Isle sweater. Mm-hmm. And so I put it on the needles. I haven't gotten very far. Let me get the ace thing. I am doing the ace thing, which is, well, it was the first one, but let's see. Yep, there it is. There it is right there. So it's full color work. It's from the bottom up on very tiny needles.
Well, it's fingering weight yarn.
Yep, and it's British breed. Mm-hmm. I actually got the yarn. It was my Christmas present for myself. I actually purchased it from the Woolly Thistle, mm-hmm. which sells a lot of the British breeds. Yes. It's a lot like Jameson and Smith, but this is Marie Wallin's brand of British breeds. So I started it. Like I said, it's a bottom up. So I haven't gotten very far.
But you'll be color,
I know, but you'll be seeing progress with this. And this is a good point. I'm just going to bring this up now. You and I, and a lot of people we know who are serious knitters, we go everywhere and we buy yarn everywhere.
Yes.
And so a lot of what you're going to see on this podcast when we're doing things, it's not necessarily yarn we carry in the store because there's yarn everywhere. So these are things we bring back from trade show or from retail shows, from festivals, vacations, whenever.
Because why buy a t-shirt when you can buy yarn?
Yeah.
It makes a wonderful souvenir.
So when I went to Edinburgh, I really liked, they have a lot of British breed, vendors. So that show British breed yarns.
I would hope so at a show in Scotland.
So you can see it is very rustic. It's a non-superwash, and it is just 100% British breed, made in the UK. This is Marie Wallin's brand. And the Woolly Thistle here in the United States
is an importer. So if you're not familiar with the Woolly Thistle, she is a large importer of European, primarily British, but also continental Europe yarns and publications and things that are a little bit harder to get a hold of here in the States. So she's a great resource if you're ever trolling around Instagram or what have you and happen to spot something from Europe. The Woolly Thistle is a great place to stop and to check out and see if maybe you can get it here in the States.
But that's the pattern.
Right there in the cover.
And those are my colors that I really am drawn to. So, yeah, it'll probably be on the needles, I would say, all of a year.
It'll be all right.
But it'll be all right. I am committed. When you do a project like this, it's one of those that it's not hard. It's two color. Right now, it's just two colors.
Well, if it's traditional, if it's true traditional Fair Isle knitting, you'll only ever have two colors at a time that you're working with.
And it's all stockinette. So in the round, because I chose to do one of those. She doesn't have many projects that are in the round. A lot of them
are pieced because that's a traditional British structure.
But this one, she had reimagined it too and did it in
a
the
more
round,
modern, kind of modernizing the silhouette and the techniques.
which is why I wanted to do it, because I didn't want to steek it, and I knew that to do it.
But you could.
I could, and
You
I
could.
had.
You know how.
I do know how, because I took that year-long knit-along class. But yeah, so it will be one I have committed to doing 2 or 3 rows a day.
There you go. Break it down that way.
Because I'm in no hurry to get it off the needles, and I don't want to only be doing that project.
Right.
So if that wasn't enough, I did cast on another one.
Of course you did. Sure. What else?
Like I said, I have cast-on-itis.
See.
So the other one.
If you watch my reels, you know I'm a huge advocate for multiple whips at a time. And everybody agrees with me on Instagram. Yeah. So we're all cheering you on. What else did you cast on?
So this is my bag by Fat Squirrel. This is my my homage, as they say, to
your former life. Debbie was a librarian.
So I am doing the Midori pullover, which I also saw at Rhinebeck
by Harrisville Designs,
and I bought the yarn for it. This one's not a very good picture of it because she's sideways, but you've seen me show this.
Yeah, you've talked about casting this on a couple of times. And now it's finally here.
Has it been a couple?
At least once.
Yeah. So anyway,
I went 3 podcasts with no finished objects. So
yeah. So this is top down. Look at this. It is a DK weight yarn. It is on size 10.5 needles. It's gonna fly.
That's why you cast this on, because you'll have your one on your size 3s.
Yes.
With the fingering weight color work, and then you'll have this one. See, it's good to have different things to work on.
But look at this. You can see, I don't know, I want to pull it up. You can see the tiny pink flecks in this yarn.
So this is Harrisville Daylights. Harrisville is a mill in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I've shown this.
Anyway, they have 2 kind of lines that they are very unique to them. They have Nightshades, which is based in a black, I think it's Rambouillet wool. Anyway, black wool with tiny flecks of different colors in it. And then this is the opposite of that, the Daylights, which is white wool with tiny flecks of colors in it. Very neat concept, the way it's milled together and put together.
It feels really nice. I mean, it is gonna.
I said, pretty sure it's Rambouillet.
I can tell just by it is.
Is it Rambouillet?
Yeah. I think you're right.
Pretty sure it's Rambouillet. Rambouillet is a breed of sheep related to Merino. Cormo. Sorry. This is Cormo. It's 100% American Cormo wool. And again, Cormo is a fine breed sheep. They are related to Merino sheep. So it's very soft.
And look at that. That is going to bloom like absolutely crazy.
Yes.
I mean,
Cormo wool goes.
Yeah. You can't tell it now, but I mean, it's going to, I mean, you can't see it now, but I can tell it's just one of those yarns that's going to, to bloom. But yeah, so that's me. What about you, dear?
This was the gnome from December. If anybody didn't see, I know there's a bonus gnome. So I finished this mystery knit-along. This is Leave Gnome Stone Unturned by Sarah. This was the December mystery knit-along gnome, and I actually finished it while I was visiting my parents, who were quite enchanted with him. And when I finished the main, the big gnome, then I cast on put the backpack on him, and then I cast on for the little gnome, and my mother in particular was like, oh my gosh, there's a little gnome, an extra gnome, a bonus gnome. So bonus gnome became like, the catchphrase for the rest of the week.
A little baby.
So
yeah.
So that's that one that I realized show. So what am I working on? Well, one of the things I'm working on is the year-long knit-along, guys. We have kicked off. So pre-orders are closed. We had the kit pre-orders for the year-long knit-along up for 2 weeks, beginning of the month. We've closed those. That order's gone to Amy at Little Fox Yarns to dye, because we had to give her a reasonable amount of time to tie all those kits. We have over 60 participants, almost 70, I think now. We're
Which
closing
blew our
in on.
mind with brioche.
Yes. So the year-long
Yeah.
knit-along, if you're not familiar, I'll link the page down below. You can still sign up and pay the participation fee. That will go through the end of this week. So there is still time if you would like to do a deep dive into brioche with us over the course of the year. But we're doing 2 patterns, one of which is Broadleaf by Woolen Pine Designs. And I had started this so that there was a little bit of a sample in the shop for folks to take a look at. So Broadleaf is a pieced sweater. It's 2 panels. This is actually a very simple sweater construction. You make 2 panels, like start to finish, cast on, bind off, then you sew them together, and you can decide how big you want the sleeve hole to be and how big you want the neckline to be, and then you just pick up and knit sleeves down. I mean, absolute dead simple, because of course what you're supposed to be focusing on is the brioche knitting. So it is 2-color brioche. That's side 1. This is side 2. And I am using the yarn that was available in the kit pre-order. So this is Little Fox Yarns, a new base from her called True Wash Fine. It is 100% organic merino, 2-ply fingering weight. That has not superwash, but has been treated with a GOTS certified compound to improve its washability. So it's going to stand up to wear a little bit better than regular merino, but you are still going to have to hand wash it. But 2 colors, pink opal and Come On in My House. And then the sweater calls for you to hold your contrast color with a mohair silk or Surrey alpaca silk. This is Nuage, which is Amy's Surrey alpaca silk heavy lace weight. So that is what I am working on. I have started filming videos this year. Our support sessions are all going to be pre-recorded video based, and then we'll have live Q&A sessions. So I have begun filming the videos. I will continue working on that this week. So if you did sign up for the year-long knit-along, you will get your welcome email. You'll probably get your welcome email February 1st or 2nd, somewhere at the beginning of February. You'll get your welcome email with your first couple of videos to watch. But we hope that you will consider, if you have not signed up yet, that you'll take a look at what we're doing and maybe consider signing up to knit with us. It's a lot of fun. We are going to start with a hat. We're going to start with swatches and then do a hat and then do the sweater. So we do step you up.
And don't feel like you need to know brioche at all before you do this. That's the whole point.
My assumption is that you have 0 brioche knitting experience. You do need to have some other knitting skills, and those are all that's on the information page, which I'll link below that you can take a look at what you do need to know before you get started, and then what we will teach you. So that is obviously what I am working on because I'm filming videos. But like you, I have to have more than one thing on the needle because sometimes I need to not do brioche. So I am making this sample that's here behind us is a fairly new sample in the shop. There we go, like that. So this is Ghost in the Orchard by Thea Coleman of Baby Cocktails. And so this is a fairly new pattern. This came out in October. It is worsted weight. It is a vest, slightly cropped. But basically, guys, this is a sweater with no sleeves. It's a sweater that you don't have to knit sleeves for in worsted weight yarn on like size 8 or 9 needles. And you don't have to knit sleeves. Did I mention that? So I decided when this pattern came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I want one. Vests are apparently very in. There's a lot of patterns that are starting to crop up. And so that is what I am making. So this sample is done in Fennec, which is a Little Fox yarn that we carry in the shop that is worsted weight yarn. This is mine. I have not gotten very far yet, and you are probably not going to be able to see anything. You're not going to really be able to see. It's the same cable pattern. You're just not going to be able to see it because it's dark brown. So I am using another yarn that I picked up at Rhinebeck. This is a farm yarn blend by CC's Wool.
Here it goes.
in New York. So this is a blend of wool that is raised, sheep breeds they raise there. If you're familiar with CC's Wool, they have a yarn shop. They raise some sheep themselves. They also dye yarn, but this is a blend of Romney, Corriedale, Border Leicester, and Finn. So it is naturally this color. This is the color that all those 4 sheep breeds blended together make. It's definitely I don't think it's rustic though. I mean, it's not, it's
very, yeah.
It's a little,
It's
crunchy,
toothy.
It's a little toothy, but it's not, rustic per se. But I'm enjoying it. I really like knitting with yarn like this. So I started this so that I would have a counterpoint to my brioche.
So you've
knitting.
just now started
cabling.
So
yes, it's from the bottom up. And so I've just started. So like if you're looking at the sample, I'm like here. Mm-hmm. So you've got a couple of double moss stitch panels and then some cable panels that run up the sides. It is knit from the bottom up in the round until you get to the divide for the armholes. Then you knit the back. You knit the fronts where you do another divide because you do one front and then the other front piece because of the V-neck. And then you pick up and do ribbing around the armholes and the neckline. Easy peasy.
And we have talked in the shop because a lot of people have seen this and really liked it, but said that that's just a little too cropped for them.
Right.
So there are modifications you can make.
Absolutely.
That is a 2 repeat or 2 panel repeat on the on the cable. You can easily add another repeat.
Yes.
And make it a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. I know on me, we figured out Saturday. I was working with a couple of customers, and we figured out that one more repeat would be right below my belt.
Mm-hmm.
So
for me, for my shape and my figure, I know after much trial and error that about 9 inches from the bottom of the arm, from the armhole to the bottom of the sweater, is an appropriate cropped length for me. It hits me in the right spot. So that's what this is. It's 9 inches for my sizing from the bottom of the armhole to here. So that I know that. And that's just something that exactly you kind of figure out over time.
Yeah, so that's a good idea to kind of get a cropped something you have maybe in your closet that's cropped. Measure that if that's a good length on you, so that you kind of know when you're making a cropped garment where you want that cropped garment to land, and that will include. I mean, because that has to include if you're a bottom up, it has to include your hem,
right? And the schematic tells you that. So always look at pattern schematics. They're in there for a reason.
Yeah.
Partially so that you can gauge how long you want different bits to be. But that's it. That's what I'm working on.
Well, I'm glad you're back to knitting. And I hope you keep it up.
And I do. I just have to be careful. I just can't go, I can do about 20.
You're doing the small needles.
And again, the needle size doesn't matter.
It matters to me.
It's my elbow. It's not my hands or my wrist. So for me, it's just a matter of, I just can't go for more than 20 minutes. So then I have to take a break and do other things, which is why stuff on big needles is very appealing.
Very appealing. Yeah. Because you just have to promise me you're going to keep up your knitting when we move into this other thing we're going to be talking about with you today. Yep. So new in shop. So we're going to do a little shift here and tell you about what we have.
What is new?
We have gotten some restocks of our forge.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got the restock stuff here in front of me. So we have gotten some restocks. If you like Ghost in the Orchard, we have gotten some restocks. I'll hand these to you of Forge. Forge is a worsted weight yarn by Hudson and West. It is 100% American wool. It is a combination of merino and Corriedale, which are 2 breeds of sheep. And so they come in the wide variety of colors. It is a minimally processed yarn, so you are going to find slightly thicker and thinner bits sometimes. There might be a little bit of veg matter.
I found veg matter
still in your yarn, but it creates a really, really pretty, really, really pretty texture.
It's not scratchy.
No, it's not at all.
It's nicely weighted. I did my cuffle in this.
It's woolen spun.
Yeah.
That's the process. Really nice. So it's very light. For a worsted weight yarn, this is extremely light. So that makes it really nice. It's been very popular.
Yeah, it has. And it's worsted weight, so it, nice size needle on
Yes.
that. It'll go
Yeah.
quickly. So
Really
if you're
great stitch definition.
looking to do a sweater with more rustic yarns, that's one we definitely recommend.
And then also on the restocks, we got a big box of yarn arrived from France with Biche Bouche. So we have a restock of their lamb's wool, which is a fingering weight Scottish lamb's wool. Yarn is wool's raised in Scotland. It's milled and dyed in France. I'm going to hand those to you. We have the fingering weight yarn. And then what we also got a restock of is the accompanying shades of their Le Petit silk and mohair. So if you are looking at patterns that call for the fingering weight and the silk and mohair held together, we have a nice selection of these coordinating colors to make that easy for you.
And you don't have to use coordinating.
No, you don't have to. It's fun to do a marl.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if you're looking for a wide variety of shades,
we've got them.
We have those.
Yeah,
in stock.
And then we got a spin cycle reshipment. We have, we have to wait a long time between shipments with spin cycle. So we've asked that they just go ahead and send partial shipments as they have it dyed. And so we got a nice restock.
A few colors of Dream State, the worsted weight, and a few colors of Sport Weight dyed in the wool.
So if you're looking for some more spin cycle, we have restocked that. It shows on our website as well as you can see them in store. We have we decided not to talk Emma's yarn.
Emma's yarn. So let's talk about what's new from Emma. Now I had an Inspire Me, but in case you missed it a few weeks ago, so these are Hella Hanks.
Yeah, we got some great response about these Hella Hanks when we did our trunk show with Emma's yarn, and so we had decided we wanted to look into carrying them to some of the Hella Hanks in the store. And then she came out with the Yarn of the Month Club, and we thought, what a great way to get a special Yarn of the Month. So this one's called January.
Yep. So these are the January colors, and what they do is they dye up a special colorway for each month, limited edition, and then they pair it with 3 of colors from their typical library, their typical palette. So this is the January colors. Hella Hanks are big skeins, 600 yards of 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon. They are fabulous.
So you get 150 gram skein, which sometimes for small shawls or in one color shawls would be just perfect.
Exactly. So a lot of times you see a shawl pattern that takes a little bit more than 1 skein of fingering weight yarn. Hella Hanks are your answer to that. So this is January. February will be shipping soon, right? Yes.
I've already gotten notification.
Yep.
Yes,
so we'll have February in before Too Terribly Long.
Yeah.
So check that out.
And then we were a little late coming on board with this. And the reason was, I just picked that up wrong. The reason was they were out of stock. Every time we checked, they were so out of stock. But we have the Maker's Boards now from EweKnit, the very popular Maker's Boards. These guys.
So they're a magnetic board.
And you put this little guy down here to hold its place so it doesn't slip. And then you've got these little accessories. So these are all magnetic. Then we bought the accessories, which you have the magnetic ruler and gauge.
And colorful
magnets. So these are great. And it folds up very nicely. Fits in this nice little carrying
canvas bag.
And and so you can just put your accessories in there right with it.
Your pattern, your charts.
Yeah.
Recipes, anything you want.
Oops, that's a UPS.
UPS. Do you want to go grab that?
Yeah.
So the Maker's Board and the accompanying accessories from EweKnit, you can find all of those on our website. We just arrived, and so it's not up on the website just yet. It'll probably be up tomorrow. We did decide to go ahead and continue carrying the wax and wool candles. We got a shipment in for the holidays in those seasonal scents. And now we have brought in wax and wool, the new season, spring, late winter, early spring scents from wax and wool. We have fresh squeezed and Huga Home. And they really are really, really nice. This fresh squeezed candle in particular, if you like citrus, this smells amazing. So these are not quite up on the website yet, but they will be shortly, hopefully by tomorrow. They'll be up and available for you to buy on the website. But that's new. And then we have this sample. We'll slide over.
Yeah.
And it's a big piece, so I had trouble kind of figuring out how to wrap it today.
It is a very big piece, but this is the Frank shawl. This is Hoagie Locatelli's. I guess it was published a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
We have kits of the original colors.
In the original colors and the original yarn. This is Madeline Tosh Merino Light. In the original colors that Hoagie used for her sample, which is just pretty neutrals.
Mm-hmm.
With this kind of pop of this goldish color, which is glazed pecan, I am pretty sure.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. And so it is very substantial, as you can see.
It's a big, but it's done in sections. So you knit, a section, and then you knit a section, and you knit a section, so that you don't have like 5 million stitches on your needles at any point. So it's garter stitched with little eyelet rows, nice, TV knitting, Netflix knitting.
And the colors really do look nice together.
And the colors are so pretty. It's like gorgeous neutrals.
Yeah.
Yep.
So highly recommend.
So Frank Shaw kit, you can find those in store and on the website.
Yeah. So we have.
And then we have one more piece of news. Are we ready? Or
we should have brought the little what do you call them? Those little whistle thingies, blowers, birthday whistles, to announce this. We are now a Shacked dealer, and what that means is we are now going to be carrying and able to order for you a full line of accessories and spinning wheels and looms.
So if you're not familiar with Shacked, Shacked is an American company. It's based in Boulder, Colorado. And they have been in business for a very long time. And they produce...
Family owned.
And what they produce are weaving and spinning tools and accessories. So we are expanding beyond carrying just knit and crochet items into carrying more weaving and spinning as well. So we're expanding to more fiber arts areas, and they carry everything from small looms that, fit on a stand or just on your table to bigger floor looms,
which we will not have in shop.
Right. We'll talk in this a bit about what's going to actually be in the shop versus what being a dealership means. But they have a huge variety of items, and then they also carry all kinds of accessories, shuttles, and cool woods, and all kinds of things, winding stations, and then they also carry spinning supplies. So they carry a variety of spinning wheels, again, different sizes, different styles, as well as, that's a cool portable spinning wheel, as well as spinning different supplies. So the way this is going to work is, as you've been into the shop before, you know that we don't have a huge amount of space right now in the store. We are working on potentially relocating to a larger space within the shopping center where we're currently located, but we don't know what the timeline exactly on that's going to be. So we're going to start with what we can have in store. So the game plan right now to have in store is to have at least 1 or 2 of the smaller looms, the Cricut and the Flip, and then a couple of spinning wheels. We're going to start with the Ladybug. The Matchless should arrive fairly shortly, and we will expand to have floor models as we can. Obviously, once we're in a bigger space, then we can have more floor models. We will never have the giant floor looms in store. The footprint on them is just too big. But what we can do is order anything that Shack produces, any item we can order for you. And what will happen if you do want to purchase a loom or a spinning wheel it will be ordered for you. That's how it's going to work. So everything will be drop shipped directly to you. And so we're going to start to have these things up on the website for you to go ahead and begin ordering, because you know, we can do that right now, right out of the gate. And so what will happen is you will see on the website, you'll see the listing for the individual loom or wheel or what have you, and know that the way it's going to work is the price that you see on the website includes the handling fee and the shipping fee bundled into the retail price. So then it's going to say your shipping is free. It's not that your shipping is free, it's that you've already paid for it, because we're paying Shacked, you know, the Shack shipping rate and the handling fees that Shacked charges. And so everything will be drop shipped directly to you. And that's going to be the case whether you spec partnership with Shacked. They make really high quality items.
Yeah, and we're really impressed with their customer service as far as what they have, their support to us, and hopefully you'll see a great amount of support materials when you from them when you buy your items too. It's kind of how we've noticed that they work, and so we're very pleased to be going into partnering with another small business that has a lot of continuity as far as ownership and in the family and products, and you know, and working with them to bring you another quality product. Just to say, we are new at this. So we have a plan, and that plan, as we've laid it out all here, and even the education pieces going forward, they are plans that right now look good, but we have not actually implemented anything yet. So please understand that we have a learning curve here, and this is going to be just as we go, things may change a little bit. I think the big overall plan that we have is good. It's solid. It's going to work. But the little detail pieces, some of those may change. So right now, everything Erin said is what, you know, we're hoping is going to play out just exactly like we've told you. But should something change, we'll keep you posted.
Absolutely. But of course, like Jay said, the education piece is continuing. You've noticed we've started to offer weaving classes. We'll begin to offer more spinning. There is a beginning spinning class on this calendar for this quarter, which still has a couple seats left in it if you would like to learn how to spin the drop spindle. But that will continue to expand as we can. So right now we have a weaving teacher who also works in a couple other places. So we are able to have those weaving classes as we can book her time.
And just also keep in mind, because those have been some really popular classes, our weaving classes. And you know, we've gotten a lot of emails about, can you put me on a wait list? I really want to take this class. So we know we need to have more sessions, but it's working with Nicole's schedule because we can't just do beginning anymore, because we've had people who've done beginning and want to move on to another level. So she's got to teach that class as well. Plus, this is not her only job. I wish we could keep her, but she's doing other things to make money. So, and she's very, very experienced, and we're very lucky to have her. So we're going to work with her as much as we can. But we have a very small space. And when you start putting equipment in a small space for a class, you need room to spread out, and we simply don't have it. So those classes are intentionally kept small. So keep that in mind when you notice that a class for weaving, or even probably going forward for spinning, is filling up fast. That just means that if that's something you want to do, as soon as we announce new classes, you're going to have to hop on it.
Which is a great segue to say, if you do not already get our weekly email newsletters that come out on Monday afternoons,
that's a great way.
This is a great time to sign up, because that is where we will announce new classes. And classes for the spring quarter will probably be announced.
We'll be having a meeting the 1st of February, and everything will probably be up on the website by about the 3rd week of February. Usually it's a couple of weeks from our meeting.
Towards the end of February, beginning of March. So if you know you would like a spot in a weaving or spinning class, keep a sharp eye on the newsletter. We will announce when those go live. Yeah,
and we will work with Nicole for weaving to try to get her to go ahead and be thinking about those class spots for spring, so she can go ahead and get them up so that we can give you plenty of notice on those. So but we're working as hard as we can to make this a great next new step for us. in serving our fiber artists in our community. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yep. So
What we
upcoming
have
trunk
coming up.
shows. We've got 2 trunk shows coming up. 29 Bridges, as we said, should begin on Saturday, January 29th. Mary is actually bringing the trunk show to us. So that should go on January 29th. So we'll go for a week. The yarn will stay here through February 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that, the whole Knit and Caboodle is another new indie dyer for us.
We met her. I met her in Rhinebeck at
Perfect Blend,
Perfect
right?
Blend
She was there.
Yarn shop. She was doing a yarn. She was doing a trunk show there.
So her yarn will be in the shop February 11th to 19th. Just as a reminder, trunk shows do not go up on our website because it's not our stock. But if you would like to shop trunk shows and you are not local, the best way to do that is to set up a virtual shopping appointment with us. You can do that right on our website. There's a banner at the top of the page. You can click.
Yeah. And I guess it is not too early to tell you to mark your calendars.
Yes.
May 13th through the 21st has been announced as our yarn crawl.
James River Yarn Crawl is back again this year and back to the spring.
We've put it back to spring.
Pushed, right. We had been pushed to fall the 1 year
2020
because of COVID, but we have decided to go back to the spring, which was the original time that James River Yarn Crawl was supposed to happen. But we're very excited.
Yeah.
We're going to have a ton of awesome
We're already
stuff.
working on it. Yeah, we're already working on it. So we're getting real excited. But yes, mark your calendars, May the 13th through the 21st. 6 shops, 2 in the Richmond area, 2 in the Williamsburg area, and 2 in the Tidewater, Virginia Beach area. So yeah, a lot of people have started making their plans.
Yes.
So you might want to put that on your calendar so you can plan now.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, that's it for today. We're still keeping it at an hour. I'm so excited because every time I see
this happens every single time we do a podcast. We get the day before and we go, there's no way. What are we going to talk about? We have anything to talk about. And then we get here and go, oh, we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
All over the table. So, but we hope you have a great week. Let's hope we're hoping we'll get our trunk show in this Saturday. We'll let you know. We're just going to plan on it and hope that weather comes in the evening rather than the daytime. So, take care, everybody.
And we will see you next month for another episode of This Is So Not a Podcast.
Bye.